All right. So this is a pre-recorded video of my most recent run, Pool of Radiance. It's the shortest speed run I do by quite a large margin, so I didn't feel like streaming it or doing live recording because it is definitely the kind where you can attempt multiple times at once and just take the best. I felt like that while I so no sound recorded or anything else. We've just strictly got the gameplay here, since sound isn't normally a part of it. When I'm streaming and stuff, I like to add more presentation by adding background music, but whatever. So here we are in Pool of Radiance. This is, and once again, another thing is that I can talk more about the game rather than. It feels really rough to keep doing the same thing over and over again, especially after like 5 minutes and restarting it, since I feel compelled to do this every time I do one of these runs. So getting into it, there's not a lot of time to talk about it. Thankfully, I can concentrate fully on the talking here. Pool of Radiance is a gold box game, one of the very first official AD&D game, the first one of its kind, and uses official AD&D rules, the first game to do so. First edition AD&D is bad in a lot of ways, but here we are moving on. Our goal is to save the city of Phlan by defeating the Dark Lord who rules the monsters who took it over a couple centuries ago, Tyranthraxus. And the game is kind of unique in that it is very open. You can go to the end game immediately, which we're actually doing. We can't win the final battle yet, but we can collect a lot of equipment and such. Very powerful, good equipment and things. So we go here, we're in the end game. We get these disguises, which will actually prevent any amount of encounters as long as we don't trigger the alarm by doing certain situations. And I'm off to some bad luck here at the very beginning. I had a couple of encounters, including a battle I had to fight against 3 gnolls in the well section, which is bad. But the major change between this run and my previous runs that I used to do are that I'm following the world record route and using 3 warriors and a mage rather than 2 warriors and 2 mages. 2 warriors and 2 mages is safer because of that fight I just did against the clerics. Because a sleep spell is about a 75% chance to get all 3 clerics to sleep, most especially the 5th level cleric, who's the real dangerous one. And I tend to fail that a lot. This is about the 5th try, I think, this run right here that I'm doing. I already got 1 PB that was about a minute, and this one's going to do even better than that, which is why I kept the video, even despite some early mess ups and stuff, accidentally paying with the wrong person. I buy some equipment early on for my fighters. The mage doesn't really need anything except these bracers that come mostly just as a safety device. But despite the mess ups, despite a bit of bad luck, I get here in a decent amount of time. I'm getting a lot better at getting through this early section. So I definitely can get to somewhere around 11 minutes or close to Rich's world record of 10, I think, by getting a little bit better luck and doing a bit better with this. We picked up this wand from this mage. We sell that. That's all the money we need in the game. And the only thing we need the money for is to train our characters. Unlike the 100% run, which I do a lot more, we are all humans and just 3 fighters and a mage. And the reason being that we need that higher level in order to we need more experience, less experience to level up when we do that. And we want to minimize the amount of experience we need to level up to get to level 4 so we can win the game. If we were fighter mages, we'd be a lot more versatile, but then we would end up not being able to, we'd have to do a lot more, get a lot more experience. There's a couple of early experience points I skipped in the slums because I think it's actually faster to grab them here in the temple where it's 100% safe. Maybe it isn't, it's hard to say. It's might be a difference of a few seconds, not a big deal. Anyway, we use the glitch or exploit inherent in the game that allows you to multiply items by transferring it to characters who aren't normally in the party, removing them from the party, dropping the party, loading the save game before you gave the item away, and then voila, you have the item you gave away and the item that you kept, and so it's multiplied, and then you do it once more. And each character can get one of these necklaces of missiles, which throw fireballs of random power. So we toss these out, and they will do enough damage to clear out 1 fireball is technically enough to win this battle. After 1 round, all of the enemies that move will if they all get killed by it, they will say, oh, we've lost enough people, we will surrender, which you'll see them start disappearing because that's what their morale check fails and they surrender. Very wonderful amounts of thing here. I go ahead and always throw a second fireball. It's just a little quick, safe backup. Uh, it may waste a tiny bit amount of time against getting a super ideal fireball check, but it also does prevent a lot of enemies from moving and also just guarantees even if you have a low damage roll on your main fireball, you should kill enough people that the odds of both of the fireballs not doing enough damage to kill enough enemies to make them surrender in one go is very, very, very low. So with so-called keep cleared out, this is the only technically required quest in the game because we need it so we can use the boats to get outside the city, which speeds up the next couple parts. Both reaching the end game once again more safely, it'll allow us to do that, and it will also allow us to more easily get out of the city and get to a point where we can get the other item we need, the super powerful magic item we need to win the game. These necklaces of fireballs will not help us against the final boss, which is another reason we need to get to level 4. Luckily, the final boss sends some warriors at us that will help us get the items we need to defeat him. This is very random. I'm not sure what determines the size of this force in here. This is a lot larger than it normally is. Usually one fireball is enough to kill almost all of them. Uh, and there's only like one left because there's like only 8 or 10 guys. But this time they had about 16 guys, but not a huge deal at this point. We can chop them up. So we need to go to the temple here. We kill that just so that it's a quick little battle, but it guarantees we won't get any more encounters once we clear out the temple. Because we got one special random encounter, even though we were able to run away from it, it guarantees we don't have to fight the troops at the gate, which is kind of nice. It's negligible either way, but pretty bad placement on the fireball there. I should have gone one more to the right. I sometimes slightly mess up. It's such a huge group. It's hard to fully, ideally toss the fireballs where they will do the most damage. But if you get lucky, 4 fireballs, 1 from each party member, will be enough to kill every enemy on the screen and they will never get to move. It's really hard to get that ideal amount because even with your high dexterity, we have maximum stats because why not? Since it gives you the opportunity to maximize them. And so that helps determine our initiative and such. But even against one person, the fireballs, they can roll really low, but they are guaranteed damage, while your chances to hit with weapons, even with magical ones, are generally pretty low. I was hoping we'd get a surrender from these guys since I killed most of them, but I have seen them surrender in this battle, but it's pretty rare. They have extremely high morale. I think I don't know the nitty gritty of the details of it, but so we grab this dust. It's the most important thing. We grab a wand for the wizard so she can contribute some damage in the final battle. It's roughly not quite as much as the warriors do, but it's a little something. It's worth grabbing the wand just for that. Another nice thing about having only one mage is that I don't have to waste time transferring out. So I need a little bit more experience to reach level 4. So I run into this room, grab a couple pieces of treasure. I don't actually grab them, but just by opening the loot screen, it gives me the experience for them. And so this will be enough for all of our characters to reach level 4. This is important because at level 3 or below, our characters can be paralyzed by fear with the final battle in Tyranthraxus and his dragon body. And so we definitely don't. We could theoretically have the wizard not be level 4 and just get paralyzed and do nothing, but probably is slightly faster to be able to possibly use some wand damage. It just kind of emergency backup. Although really this is a short enough run that maybe it would be faster to ignore the wand, ignore the wizard getting level 10. Like just looting one room really fast, I think gives enough experience to get the warriors to level 4. And then the mage we can just ignore because we don't use the mage for really anything other than that one sleep spell at the beginning of the game. That's all you need him for. And then, helping out with the fireballs and such, but any of the characters can do that. And in the final battle, it doesn't work. So that's why we have the wand, so they do any amount of damage, but might not even be necessary. I might do that later on. It would be one less room searching and a little bit less time there. But now we're in the final dungeon area. We enter up here, go through the secret wall, go through another secret wall, go up these stairs. There's the final room encounter right here. All we need to do is use some Dust of Disappearance. And throughout any course of the game, after the first sleep to memorize, the first rest to memorize sleep spell, I never rested the whole rest of the game. And now we are fighting 12 level 8 fighters with 80 hit points each. We've used this Dust of Disappearance, though, so they can't see us. And so we can toss these fireballs at them quite freely, and they will not be able to hit. Unfortunately, I slightly positioned badly there. I need to move red the other direction so that I can actually hit all of the fighters here, because one fighter is not getting hit by these fireballs, which is actually costs a little bit of time because I have to toss a fresh amount at him. Depending on how lucky you get with these rolls, you could finish them in as few as like 4 fireballs, or it could take 10 or more. The necklaces of missiles is very random. It throws fireballs, which normally do relatively consistent damage, but the necklace of missiles, in addition to having random damage rolls, actually has random effects. The power of the fireball is random as well, because the necklace of missiles, what it actually is, in the original AD&D description, is a necklace with a bunch of magical beads at it, and you pluck this bead off of the necklace and throw it, and it explodes into a fireball. And some of them are very big fireballs that do like 7 die 6 of damage, 7 to 42 points, and some of them are really small. They're only 3 die and do 3 to 18 damage. So you have 3 sets of RNG determining how many of these you need to throw and how much damage they do, based on 1, random, how big it is; 2, the random roll of whether it's actually very high or very low, or somewhere in the middle, which is more common because of how the bell curve works with multiple dice; and then finally whether they save or not. I accidentally hit my green there with the fireball as well. I was a bit mistake. He finally surrendered because he took enough damage. Now most of us didn't get any good equipment in the game, but we can grab +2 two-handed swords and +3 plate mail from. No, it's just +2. The rings of protection are +3, which I grabbed for the mage, although again it's pointless. Just grab all those for them, and voila. Now we have good enough equipment to defeat Tyranthraxus. Now we're weakened by fear because of how low level we are. So we do about half damage, but even so, the two-handed swords do a huge amount of damage to big monsters. And so as long as we can hit him, so there's the wand doing a little bit of contributed damage. And that's it. We've defeated Tyranthraxus, and now we have to go through this about 30-second cutscene of most of the text in the game goes super duper duper fast, but for whatever reason, these 2 text boxes during the end, they made take time, and you can't just hit a key to cycle through them. They go at their own rate, which is really, really, really slow. And you can see now the rest of the game goes, the speed at which it travels. But for whatever reason, these 2 text boxes, they want you to fully understand that. That one's a little bit slow, but he drains away, he's gone. Now we have to turn in. I accidentally, again, waste a few more seconds because I took a step the wrong way. But now there's our victory there, of collecting the treasure for defeating Tyranthraxus, and 1:12:34 is not a bad time. It's about 2 minutes faster than the previous one I've got, so I'll be uploading this and putting it on the speedrun board. And every once in a while, this one's easy to try out when I feel like it, so I might do another one and try to get sub 12, maybe even sub 11, get closer to the world record for it. Pretty easy, simple run, and not bad. We'll see what I can do more in the future.